Welcome to the Rocky Top Roundtable. Don't forget 500 likes. Get us those 500 likes. Like, subscribe here on the Volquest YouTube channel as our channel continues to grow. Eric Kane, Rob Lewis, and Brent Hubbs. I'm Austin Price. Guys, it's UT Martin week. Not much to look ahead to the weekend, so let's look back a little bit.
You think anybody wants to do that?
You know.
Well, you think they're still talking about it?
You know, yeah, they are. They'll still be talking about it. You know, when my hair is gray, like Rob's. Let's kind of take a look at at the end of the game sequence, guys. Hendon Hooker special. Josh Heupel goes aggressive there at the end, Rob, and this guy right here, Ramel Keaton, just keeps stepping up. So did Brew McCoy.
I mean, just a phenomenal play, and you mentioned the best part about it. There's 15 seconds left on the clock right there.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all talked about it amongst ourselves. I mean, how many Tennessee coaches that we've covered, or how many coaches in the country go for it right there? I mean, dial it up. I mean, you just had 2 turnovers in the second half. Another one is a disaster. A lot of bad things can happen, but I think that's one of the things about Josh Heupel that fans love. He doesn't dwell in the negatives. What can we do to help ourselves here? And obviously, the rest is history.
These two throws. I thought the second one, this one right here is on time. The second one, I was like, is he gonna let the clock run out? It seemed like he held on to that thing forever.
The thing that impressed me about these 2 catches right here on this final drive is both of these guys, Ramel Keaton and then Brew McCoy right here, you take hits. You take a hit right there, you hold on to the football knowing the situation the situation that you're in, what you're trying to set up in that moment. Just 2 huge plays. And obviously Chase McGrath comes in and we saw the kick, and the most beautiful, ugly kick you'll ever see in your life. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, let's see it again. Why not? Let's just see it again. There it is.
From 40 yards, it's true. From 41, Brent, I'm not sure if it would be, but it doesn't matter.
No, I mean, he didn't hit that one well, but he hit it well enough, and that's all that matters at that point. And again, the story of this team for the last 17, 18 months, I wrote it after the game, continues to be the fact they just don't flinch. They don't flinch when something bad happens. I mean, you think about it. Go back to the 2 turnovers Rob mentioned that Tennessee had. One of them's a scoop and score. Alabama takes the lead. Offense comes back right back down the field, scores, ties the game up. The other interception that Hendon Hooker throws, defense goes out, gets a stop, doesn't give up any points. It stays a 1-point Alabama lead. No flinching in this football team. That's the story of this team to me.
Yeah, Tennessee's ability to run the ball the last few weeks has been impressive. Almost 500 yards. You said that in the post game, and you start adding it up, and you're like, dang. I mean, if you just said, close your eyes, said Tennessee's going to run for 500 yards against Alabama and LSU, you're like, wow. And that offensive line's been playing really, really well, both in pass protection, Rob, and run blocking.
Yeah, just gave up 1 sack to Alabama. They had 18 on the year coming in. And again, it's ground we've all covered. But the most impressive part of the game to me was Tennessee's ability to control the line of scrimmage on both sides. They averaged a full yard more per carry than Alabama did. Tennessee ran for 182 yards. And I think that was a tremendous key in the game because it gave Tennessee balance. Bryce Young had to throw the ball 55 times. Hendon Hooker threw it 30 times. Tennessee had balance, and that was big.
Yeah, and all that because, and as you guys have already mentioned, it's the offensive line. It's that group. 4 or 5 of those guys started last year, played a whole lot of football. You add in Gerald Mincey, J.J. Crawford's filled in really, really nicely. Dane Davis got some big reps at LSU, and that offensive line has just been really good, neutralizing Will Anderson Jr. He made a play. He was in there whenever Hendon Hooker sailed that ball and it was intercepted, but that's about the only time I saw him on the night. A great job by Darnell Wright, who made some money. J.J. Crawford again, Gerald Mincey. And that entire offensive line, DJ Dale got a coverage sack. That was the only sack in the football game for Hendon Hooker. Can't say enough about that offensive line. That is a really, really good unit.
Yeah, pass protecting for Hendon Hooker was on point. Hendon got the ball out. Of course, the 5 touchdowns, 385 yards through the air, all 5 to Jalen Hyatt. But there were some big completions to Ramel Keaton, to Brew McCoy, not just on that last drive, but I thought Keaton had a couple of nice plays. He continues to play well as Cedric Tillman, works his way back from the ankle surgery. This is a week, guys, where Tennessee can get some of those younger guys in. Chaz Nimrod, we've not seen him. He's back healthy. Could be someone that Tennessee plays in I won't say garbage time, but once they get up, enough to where they can pull the starters.
Well, I think you got to make a commitment, and the opportunity presents itself to get those guys off the field early, get them off the field early. Offensively, Tennessee's been very fortunate. They've got the one injury to Cedric Tillman, but you look at what happened on Saturday. They basically played 14 guys, and one of those was Joe Milton for one snap in a game. They're literally playing an entire football game at that tempo with basically 11, 12 guys. They're substituting 2 tight ends, and they're substituting the running back position, and that's it. So, Rob, if the opportunity presents, get them out.
Get
and
them all
rest.
out. Let's see the Squirrel. Let's see Dylan Sampson. Let's see Williams Thomas. Let's see. There's a ton of offensive linemen, young guys that we don't know, what they have. This is a great game to get those guys' feet wet, and just as importantly, avoid a Cedric Tillman against Akron-like situation where you get a guy dinged up and lose him for multiple weeks in a meaningless game.
That sounds great, but the starters on offense and the guys who are rotating in with the first group on defense, they are going to play the first series likely of the second half. You saw that against Ball State. You saw that against Akron. It's a football thing. It's a comeback from a break type thing. I'll be surprised if they don't do it because that's what they've done, but there's no excuse. If you're up comfortably by 3-4 touchdowns, get Hendon Hooker out of this football game. Because you're right, Rob. You can't afford to have a Cedric Tillman-like injury. It's football, I get it, but it can be avoided in games like this.
Well, you're in a very different place, though, with your football program and this week than you were Ball State, than you were Akron.
Yeah.
You're sitting here looking at what's ahead of you and where you put yourself in a realistic position for. It's different. That's just the bottom line. It's a different place than they were in those other games.
It is, and honestly, Joe Milton deserves the chance to get in there and throw it around and run the offense and not be handing it off there up 4 or 5 touchdowns in the second half. Like, actually run the offense. Let him go out there and go up tempo and, let him have those young receivers.
Let him rip it.
And let him rip it. Yeah, exactly. You're making kind of a joke, but at the same time, it's so true. The kid's been a model teammate and does everything you ask him to do. So, I think he deserves to come in there and wing it all over the lot.
He needs to stay ready just in case. Mm-hmm. Just in case you're taping an ankle for a series. You know what I'm saying? You never know.
That's right.
You just never know. So you take full advantage of opportunities when they present itself. And this week should be that kind of opportunity. Probably the last one you're going to have for a while.
Yeah, well, for a few weeks anyway. Yeah, 100%. You look at defensively, this is another game, and you see more Josh Josephs every week. You see more Tyree West because they're getting that Rabbits package every week. Danico Slaughter's starting to, get a little run because Jalen McCullough's out. All these players getting more and more play, Rob. All that's doing is just building that depth for that last month of the season where teams can get tired, can kind of face that wall of a long, hard season.
And after what we saw on Saturday, the second half and the secondary, I'm not Willie Martinez or Tim Banks, but I would be motivated to throw as many guys out there as possible with the way that you saw them just had to, patchwork, try to put a Band-Aid on things in the second half. And, I think we all think they have some good athletes back there, but they obviously, don't have a full sense of trust in all those guys. And I think that's why, we've seen some of the questionable personnel combinations back there. They're head scratching for us, but we're not on the practice field every day to see where the trust level is with these guys.
I'll tell you what, I know we've had 4 or 5 days to kind of sit on this a little bit, but I still cannot believe, Rob, that in crunch time against Alabama you have, and I know injuries and everything dictated that, but you had Brandon Turnage on one side and William Wright on the other. And credit to those guys, especially William Wright. They went right after him. He makes a tackle. Brandon Turnage played 20 snaps in this football game. It's only, as Austin pointed out, only going to help you moving on. And I liked what I saw a little bit from Danico Slaughter at times. There were missed tackles, there were missed assignments. It is what it is. But I thought a lot of guys grew up on Saturday and grew up in a hurry. And again, they're not going to see a quarterback better than what they saw against Bryce Young.
It's Tennessee, it's UT Martin, and it's a noon homecoming game. Noon game. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
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 Everybody loves the good nooner for a game like this. For the guys, help us get 500 likes, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We appreciate it. This has been the Rocky Top Roundtable.